Howsham Mill is on a small island. To get to Howsham Mill, you walk along a footpath from the car park and cross a number of small bridges. When you get to the island for a school visit, I will have put up a sign to either close the island or to advise any other visitors to behave appropriately. This will depend on the size of the group that are coming to Howsham Mill. I can meet you at the car park, or if you're confident walking down to the mill yourselves, for example you've been before, talk to children about health and safety with regards to staying away from the edge of the water. So you can see here the path that children will have walked on to get to the island. At this point I normally meet groups and I tell them about the canal on one side of the island and the river on the other side of the island. Further along the footpath you get closer to the mill and you'll see the mill pond. This is often fast moving water, but today is not moving because the wheel in the mill is not turning. And you continue walking next to the canal. I always remind children to stand at least 1 metre away from the edge at all times. For younger children, I will get them to show me what a metre looks like. Inside the mill, we will have a conversation about health and safety. Depending on the time of year, the stove may be lit and we'll discuss rules around that. The doors to the mill, there are 2 doors, are very heavy, and we discussed that they must be held open and for children to keep their fingers away from the edges. We have a set of stairs. Going upstairs is where you can view the water wheel. So again, we talk about health and safety with regards to walking upstairs. Upstairs we have a room with a rail where you can look down. Again, a discussion around not leaning over this edge is important. Through the archway, children can view the water wheel when it's turning. They can also see into the granary, our kitchen. Again, we discuss not leaning over the edge at this point. Outside the mill building, we have a platform on which children can stand to view the river and to look at the 2 Archimedes screws turning. Children are allowed onto that platform in relatively small groups, and we will discuss behaviour before going onto that platform. Again, this amounts to not climbing on the railings, and if it has been wet or frosty, the fact that the wooden boardwalk area will be slippy. The river itself is not deep, although it is fast moving. You keep a throw line through that door that you can see there in the kitchen area, and we ask children to stand away from the edge between the kitchen and the platform. Children often walk down to view the Archimedes screws. I will lead them and tell them where they can stand and where they cannot stand. They're not allowed to lean on these fences. There is a drop here into the river, so I will stand at that point and tell them where they cannot go any further, where they can't go past. On the platform itself, children will look for otters, kingfishers, ducks, swans. They will stand at the edge the Archimedes screws here. Behind me you should be able to see some of the old mill machinery. We often talk to children here about the history of the mill, how it worked in the olden days, and we discuss the children again cannot climb on this machinery. This is the area in which most of our activities take place. We have a fire circle. There will be a bucket of water next to the fire and a set of fire gloves. I will be the only person operating the fire. Children will sit in a circle around the fire on logs, stones, stumps or squares of carpet. They will be at least a metre away from the edge of the fire, usually a little bit further than that. For larger groups we will put a tarpaulin on the floor in this space here or on a grassy area further away so that not too many children are sat near the fire at one time. The drop into the river is quite steep at this point, although the river is not deep. So I will usually ask a member of staff to sit on this log or to stay near this log so that children can be warned if they are too near the edge of the river. A throw line is always hung in one of the trees here and I am trained in using the throw line. There are 2 toilets outside. They are composting toilets. They are in this little shed here. Children will either love them or hate them. We have no running water, no normal water supply on the island. So the toilets work by composting. I will show you inside, it's very exciting. There's a toilet like this. There is hand sanitizer on the wall. There is toilet roll hung on a string. I will talk to children about how to use the toilets safely. There is a more accessible toilet in the kitchen or granary area. It's still a composting toilet, but children with limited mobility or who are using a wheelchair should be able to get into this toilet. As you walk towards the end of the island, the path becomes narrower and closer to the river, but children can still maintain that 1 metre away from the edge at all times. There is a rope swing which has been hung on a tree near the river. Children will not be able to reach it from the edge, and I do not permit them to use it. If it is in any way reachable, when I arrive on site, I will make sure that it's not by the time children arrive. There is a bird hide at the end of the island. It has been quite badly vandalised, but it is still a nice peaceful place to come and watch the river, to look for otters, etc. There is damage to one side, as you see here, so this may not be appropriate for very young children because they'll be right close to the edge of the water here. But for older children, they can stand and look at the view. There is running water in the kitchen area, and in here is a small composting toilet with a sink as well. This water is harvested rainwater, so is usually in short supply. So we will usually request that children use hand sanitizer and only wash their hands before eating. Our water is harvested rainwater, so is often in short supply. At certain times of the year, this may mean that we have no running water. In this instance, hand sanitizer will be provided, or potentially a bowl of water will be provided in which children can wash their hands.